Hello, everyone. Welcome to 2D Board Gamers. My name is Dave,
And I'm Dirk.
and today we're going to do a 5 deck ideas for the upcoming Nick Fury hero.
And the first one we're going to start off with is we're going to kind of look at what's been revealed for him so far and what we know of his deck that he's coming with, and maybe some initial upgrades that we think that we would be making to that deck when it comes out.
Right.
So that'll be the first
But
thing.
first, the first thing, let's kind of go over the concept of Nick
Oh,
because
okay.
my deck kind of
He's throwing a fast one on me. That's what he's trying to do.
kind of pulls away from that a little bit. So first of all, so Nick is a 2/2/2. He's a shield soldier spy. Gather intel. Response after Nick Fury makes a basic thwart. Place 1 threat on your suit form upgrade. We'll show that in a minute. And then break cover when you attack. Change to assault suit form.
Yeah. Now it doesn't say when you use a basic attack, so it's when you use any attack.
Right. And I do have an aggression deck idea. So the net deck will be assault probably most of the game.
Yeah.
Uh,
Others.
so where's his alter ego?
Alter ego there. So that's the Nick Fury is for recovery, but he's got a setup called his setup is called suit up. But you put your suit form upgrade into play, assault side face up, and then as an action he can infiltrate, which is changed to the self suit form. So if he does want to change back, that's one of the ways he can do it is going down.
All right. So yeah, so stealth is when an enemy would attack you, it schemes instead. Place 1 threat from that activation here instead of on the main scheme if there are 5 or less threat on this card. So it allows you to store 5 from this method. There are ways to increase that number, but you can respond or interrupt, I guess, the interrupt. So which is nice is the fact that it's an interrupt. So that would, if the scheme is like 1 away from popping, you know, you actually pull that threat from the activation instead of putting it on the main scheme.
Yep.
So that's pretty nice. But it's only when the enemy would attack. So it doesn't help with step 1 or or if an advance comes out or something.
Yep. And then the assault side of the suit is it's as an interrupt. Whenever you attack, you remove up to 3 threat from here. And this attack deals 1 additional damage for each threat removed this way. You notice it does not allow you to switch back automatically, though.
Okay. And then we saw a couple of justice cards. So this first deck idea is basically for between the two of us is, like Dirk said, probably pulling some cards out because, Informant is, we're going to get 3 copies of Informant and it's max 1 per player.
Right.
So you may not necessarily want 3 copies of Informant in your deck. But it is a preparation card, so it does go away. So
there's a preparation card to discard. Yeah. So
so maybe 2 copies. I don't know if I would put 3 copies.
I would probably not run 3. I might run 2 depending on the way my deck is built.
Yeah. I'm going by my Black Widow experience, because a lot of times when Black Widow had some of those max 1 per player, it's like 2 copies is pretty good. 3, you end up with 2 copies in your hand and you can't use them. You can spin them as a single resource, but to me, that's not as very efficient. But yeah, so when a minion schemes, discard Informant, this activation removes threat instead of placing it.
Then we have the Prism Dust, which is a 1-cost upgrade. Again, max 1 per player, but it's a hero response as an attack after a minion enters play. You discard the dust, you confuse that minion, and deal 2 damage to it. But again, this will flip your suit when you use this because it is an attack. Again, this one also comes with 3. I would probably drop this down to 1, to be really honest. If I left it in the deck at all.
Yeah, I would probably run 1 because it is a preparation card. But
that's kind of what I was thinking too. But yeah, one feels like the max I'd really want with this one because then you're waiting for a minion to come out, and if you've got the wrong villain, you might not ever use this or rarely use it.
All right, and then a critical card, I believe, that would definitely needs to find room in the deck. So pulling something out to put Quake in. So Quake will be amazing in this deck.
Yep.
2-cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack, 2 hit points. After a minion schemes, which when you're in stealth form, he's going to scheme.
Now, is stealth the stealth's not the villain only? Is it everybody? Or I guess that was the one thing I didn't.
No, everybody, I believe. When an enemy would attack you,
so
it
yeah.
schemes.
So yeah.
So obviously So the nice thing is, after minion schemes, exhaust quake, deal 2 damage to that minion. So you, Mr. Villain or Mr. Minion pops up. You
You drop 2 damage on him there with the prism dust.
You can when the minion schemes, discard and form it. So now it removes threat instead of adding threat.
And Quake's dealing damage
And
to
then
it.
Quake turns around and does 2 damage to him. This is when he enters play, so
Yeah.
that's different. But this would be during an activation. So it's like, thank you for activating. I will remove some threat.
And goodbye.
And yeah, and Quake will kill you. All right. And then since it's all about preparation cards, and these are cards that came from Black Widow, so who's like our big preparation hero currently. So you want to this
So
another
this is
one.
Agent Coulson, and Agent Coulson, whenever he enters play, you can search your deck and discard pile for a preparation card and add it to your hand. Then you shuffle your deck afterwards.
Right.
But so yeah, he lets you go back and pull a preparation card that you've already used or one that you're looking for if you need a specific one out.
Yeah,
like pull it out of your deck too.
Like when I throw in Agent Coulson, like if I'm doing a non-preparation deck, I'll throw in like a counterintelligence, which removes 3 threat. You know.
Yep.
But Nick's got a lot of preparation cards that's part of his kit. We'll get to that one. That one's going to be critical. I thought he had preparation. Yeah. So, you could pull the eye patch camera back. Oh, is that the
that's the only one that he came with as far as his kit.
Yeah, okay.
That we see.
Well, but he's got he comes in Justice, so
yep.
Obviously there's lots of preparation cards. Another preparation card that can be used with Agent Coulson is Espionage. When the search keyword on an encounter card would be resolved, discard Espionage and draw 2.
Yeah, and I've always loved that card, but we've had limited uses of it, so I'm glad to see some more uses coming for it.
Yeah, and we always use Helicarrier. I mean, some people don't, but
Helicarrier is in almost every one of our decks.
Yeah.
So,
so those would be definitely some cards. Then another one that I will not pull out of the deck, but I'm really looking forward to this card for Black Widow, is after you discard a preparation card you control, discard it, return that card to your hand from your discard pile. So it's Agent Coulson on a stick, basically, which is nice.
Yeah, this is one of the few max 1 per players that I could potentially see running 3 of if the deck worked with it, like with either Nick or Black Widow. I could potentially see running 3 of these.
Yeah.
And this is probably the only max 1 per player I can see doing that with.
So yeah, so those are I would want Coulson and Quake definitely in the deck, I believe. And if I'm going, since they're both shield, technically you could throw in Field Agent to keep them alive longer, but really Coulson's power is when you play him, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I probably wouldn't bother. I don't know if I'd bother with Field Agent.
I would not.
I mean, you can keep Quake alive, which is good. Although, you exhaust Quake. Yeah, she doesn't take consequential.
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you probably don't need Field Agent then. Okay, well, anyways, so that is...
but then also, I mean, a couple of the cards that I definitely would be leaving in the Nick one as well is the Gemma Simmons and Leo Fitz.
Oh, yeah.
Because those are key for preparations as well.
Right. And I'm definitely... Oh, yeah, and I'd have Nick Fury Sr. as well, probably, because he replaces Nick.
Yep.
Yeah. So I would definitely have him in there. I would definitely have Leo Fitz, which his power... You want to read his power?
So Leo is... he's a shield persona, a 3-cost support basic, but you can reduce the cost of him by 2 if you have shield. Nick has shield. And shield on both sides. And he's as an alter ego action, you can exhaust him, search your deck for a tech card, and add it to your hand. So it's another way to go and search for one and add it to it. So you can find what you need when you need it.
Yep, and then the other half of Fitzsimmons is Gemma Simmons, 3-cost support, reduce the cost by 2 if you have a shield trait. exhaust Jim Simmons, generate a mental resource for a tech card. Now, when we did the article review, we already thought what Fitzsimmons with Iron Man, even though it would cost 3, but you could pull his armor pieces that he needs. If you had like meditation, you could pay for the armor piece. And then the mental, so like say the rocket boots or whatever, when he's hero, this could pay for the rocket boots to activate, so he'd be aerial. So Iron Man is one of the few non-shield people that I could see jumping on this.
Running Fitzsimmons with,
right.
Yeah.
The other ones would have to be like, I'd have to look at their kits to see if they have a lot of tech cards that require activation. I don't think so. Fitz, I could see if someone has a lot of tech cards. Like, I can't remember if Ironheart has a lot of tech cards because she's armor based as well. I don't think so. And I don't remember if War Machines.
I think Spider does, right?
SBDR.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'd have to.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'd have to look at the kits to see, but
definitely. But going back to Shield here, there are a lot of Shield heroes in Alter Ego, especially in the beginning of the game. The base game, we had Captain Marvel.
Yep.
And then the very first hero pack, we got Captain America.
Hawkeye was Shield too.
Yeah, Hawkeye. But Hawkeye and Spider-Woman in the first campaign box.
Oh yeah, because I have a Spider-Woman deck that's built on a Shield theme.
Black Widow is Shield, and she's preparation. So there's a lot of these cards in this set that's going to be good for her. War Machine, I believe, was Shield on Alter Ego side. So yeah, there's 5 or 6 heroes that are like Shield, Alter Ego, Avenger, hero. So in a way, we're kind of we reinforce the game has reinforced the Avenger side forever. In the beginning of the game. Now we're kind of pumping up the Alter Ego Shield side for those initial characters. Another card, just because it's Justice, I would definitely throw in Jessica Jones. She's just useful for pretty much any Justice deck.
Yeah.
She doesn't get the bonus becoming Shield.
I'm going to be sad to see. I mean, I'm looking forward to eventually seeing her as a hero, but I'm going to be sad when that day comes. Well, that's what I thought. I thought the same thing about Maria. I'm actually excited to play the card.
Yeah, I mean, if we may see a Jessica Jones hero someday. Okay, so anyways, let's move on to Dirk's deck.
All right, so the deck that I had, I actually built a protection deck for him, and it's not really the. I did not build it as a perfect protect, or what do they call it?
Perfect defense.
Yeah, perfect defense, because with him, they're going to be thwarting on you quite a bit. So a lot of the cards that you would use with a perfect defense deck normally won't really be as effective. So kind of what I did with it instead was I figured whenever he is in the assault or he's in the stealth side, he'll get it built up a little bit, and then he flips over to the assault side. He swings with that, and then you're throwing in cards right along with it. The protection cards like Hard Knocks, that it's an attack card. You can either do it right before or right after, because it'll flip you over into the assault. So you do that, you can deal 4 damage to an enemy, and if that enemy's defeated, then you can get a tough status. So that'll actually help to protect you a little bit.
And you can spin up to 3 counters, so you can make that 7 damage.
Yep. Well, no, the counters are only for his basic, I think.
No.
Oh, it's for any attack?
It's for any attack, yeah.
Is it? I thought it was only when he used a basic.
Nope. I probably should have went the other way.
Oh, you passed it. 2 back.
Right there.
Oh, assault, yeah.
When you attack.
When you attack. Okay, so yeah, you can drop that one up to 7. I got another one here, first hit. So you deal 2 damage to the villain as an attack, or as an interrupt. When a minion initiates an attack, you can deal 2 damage to that minion.
Which could be you bring it up to 5.
Bring it up to 5, so you could knock out a pretty tough minion before it even has a chance to swing at you.
It is an interrupt. Yeah,
it is
you
an interrupt.
5 damage to the minion. Yeah.
So, and then another one I was looking at here was the Fighting Fit. So it's a protection deck, but you're doing a lot of swinging with this thing.
Yeah.
But this one is you deal 2 damage to the villain, 5 damage instead if your remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your hero. Well, I don't think you're going to be getting hit as much, so it will be less of an issue. I do have some traditional protection cards as well to kind of help with this. but you can build that one up to 5 with your assault suit. You can actually go swing up to, or yeah, you're swinging up to 8 with this thing right here
With that 2-cost card.
with a 2-cost card.
Wow.
So that's kind of what I was looking at with him. And then of course, you've got your night nurse here, so she can heal you 1. More importantly, though, she can remove a status card from you. So if you get stunned and you need to swing, she can help you out with that there. But then I've got some more of the traditional defense cards to kind of help keep him. Like I said, I'm not worried about a perfect defense, but I am trying to keep him full so that I can get more use out of cards like the Fighting Fit. But you've got stuff like the Energy Barrier. You've got electrostatic armor here. You've got a Dauntless, so that if you are attacked, or no, what is it? The remaining hit points are greater. Oh yeah, so you can attack and then use your Dauntless and attack again. I've got cards.
Retaliate.
Huh?
It's retaliate.
Oh, that's retaliate.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Okay. Oh no, that's not the one I thought it was. Never mind.
You also have to be full.
Yeah, you get retaliate. So I mean, Dauntless could come out, but I mean, if you are trying to keep it up full, that's not a bad one to have in there. I have a copy of it. I've got cards like Defensive Stance, so when you would take any amount of damage, you can discard this to prevent 3 of that damage.
And it is a preparation card.
It is a preparation card. And then I've also got Anticipation here. This one's a max 1 per player, but when you engage a minion, you can discard this card to ready your hero. So, and again, preparation cards. So those are cards that work. I think I used both the defense preparation cards in the deck because they are actually pretty good cards in it, and I think that he could take some use to it. So that's kind of what I was looking at. And as far as allies, it's I think I had all shield allies in this. In fact, yeah, I went very light on allies with this. All I've got is I added the Nick Senior card and Black Widow. And that was it. I wasn't really going really heavily with the allies because I don't anticipate being attacked a whole lot. And the thwart, it's basically you take a little bit of thwart and then you flip over. The idea is take a little bit of thwart, you get your suit built up a little bit, you flip over and you swing as hard as you can, as fast as you can, and then flip down to spin it back is kind of the thing. And it's a very aggressive protection deck was kind of what I was going for here.
Okay. So I didn't pull a bunch of cards out, but for Nick, it's kind of more traditional aspect decks. So I have an aggression one. And so for the most part, we would be in the assault side, so probably in the beginning of the game, stealth to get built up a little bit. But the idea is that I would be on assault so we could do more damage and hopefully take out the villain faster. There is a few cards that we've seen that allows you to place threat on your suit form upgrade. So like here, you deal 4 damage to an enemy. This attack gains range. If this attack defeats the enemy, you can place threat on your suit form equal to the scheme. So this is a way you can go above the 5. And if you're staying in assault form, you're going to be using them. So you want a way to, and if, things are getting a little crazy, you can always switch to stealth form.
Yeah, this was one of the key cards for my deck idea because it allows you to switch back to the stealth if you need to build it up a little bit more, or you just let's see, place threat on the suit upgrade to So I mean, or build it up.
So it's the same concept. Is that it'd be on the assault side mostly. That one wasn't. I thought there was another one. Well, that's a resource. I thought there was another one that added threat.
The eye patch camera doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, here.
That one.
Okay. Yeah, remove 2 threat from a scheme. If you're in stealth suit, you may place threat on your suit form up. Otherwise, you may change the style. Okay, so this one would be a way to flip. So this card may not be quite as useful if I'm staying on the assault form.
Very useful in my deck, though. This was the one I was thinking you were talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Hero and so this is when you're in a stealth form, obviously. So I would be flipping a stealth form some of the time, especially in the beginning to get set up, or to restock the damage. But the idea is kind of just would have a lot of attack events that I can put up to 3 extra damage to try to take the villain out. So it's sort of standard aggression. So you're using the attack events with home technique, and then you throw in the 3. So like uppercut, for example, does 5 normally. You can remove 3 of those counters. That makes it 8. And then you had the home technique on that. That would be 11. So you could do 11 points of damage with a 3-cost card. And also would it be assuming that um, the helicarrier, that's the aggression helicarrier that comes in Maria, is a big damaging card. I would probably have that in the deck as well.
Yep.
Uh, and then there'd be one of the few times where I would want to have a lot of aggression resources to pay for, like power of aggression and that kind of stuff. So, like I said, I don't have any specific because the allies are pretty much standard that I throw in for aggression. So I don't know if I even pulled all these out. So like the Hulk is a good one just because he's cheap. He's a good blocker, but he also can do a lot of damage. Uh, Spider Girl because you can stun and confuse a minion. Sunfire. These are kind of been staples in a state. Oh, Sunfire is a 2/1/2/2. You spend an energy and you can remove an attachment. They've kind of been staples in my aggression deck. And then of course Hall of Heroes, would be in there. And I don't have it out, but combat training, of course, to beef up to make him a base 3
Yep.
for his standard. So we're not I'm not really utilizing the stealth side as much, but it's there when you want to, like Dirk had mentioned, where you want to refocus getting threat put back on your suit. Things are under control a little bit. The scheme is under control, and you can allow it to go up a little bit so that you can hopefully do a bunch of damage. So, anyways, that's my aggression Nick Fury deck idea.
All right.
Okay.
So now the next idea I had is
Deck 4.
deck 4, and this is a basic deck. So I personally I consider basic an aspect. I know technically it's not, but I don't care. This is one of my favorite aspects to play. Uh, yes.
We need to get back. We need to do another back to basics.
Yeah, back to basics. I'll do it with Nick here when he comes out. I'll definitely play that.
Oh, that means I can play Maria. Yay!
Yeah. So what I want to do here, looking with this, is again, like I said, with all the decks we kind of built for this one and the Maria one, I kind of went shield centric with it. So of course I'm going kind of shield centric. I've got the new Nick Senior who's with the deck. I've got
So let's look at Nick.
oh yeah, the new Nick Senior. Yep. So he basically, since Nick is your hero, you can't use the Nick ally. So this is basically the same thing as the Nick ally. I think it's worded slightly different, but it pretty much does the same thing. He's a 4-cost 2/2, and he's a shield soldier. So after he comes into play, you choose to either remove 3 threat, draw 2 cards, or give a shield character a tough status card. And at the end of the round, he goes bye-bye. So we've got him. We've got Agent 13, who whenever she uses a basic ability, a thwart or attack, she can ready a shield support. We've got Dum Dum Duggan, since I am kind of going shield centric here.
It's Dugan.
Dugan. I call it Duggan. Dugan, potato. Yeah. But he's a 5-cost ally, so he's a little bit on the expensive side, but he does thwart for 3 and attack for 3. He does take additional consequential, but what you can do with him is whenever you use one of his basic powers, you can exhaust up to 3 shield cards, and you get +1 to that power for each card exhausted that way. In fact, the only non-shield ally that I have in the deck is one that's kind of a default card for my basic decks, is Lockjaw. Lockjaw costs 4. He's a 2/2, and he takes 1 additional consequential damage when he uses either one. He's got 4 health. But the key thing about Lockjaw and the way I use him is I rarely will use him the first time or so through a deck. He's almost always going to be a resource. But when I get down, after I've got kind of my setup out, and I don't need the resources in my hand as much, I will use him, throw him into the discard pile, and pull him back out of the discard pile repeatedly. So that's kind of what he's in there for. He's more of a mid to late game card for me, but he's he's a resource until then.
So, but in Maria, then he would be a shield service dog.
He would be. All right. So then, so as far as the allies, that's kind of the main thing there. I've only got a couple of events, but one of them here, Another one that is key to my basic decks is this assess the situation, because my idea with my decks is to thin them out as much as I can and get through the deck repeatedly as fast as I can. So this is one that you can either use it for the resource, or you can, it's a zero cost event, but as an action, you discard it and you will get one additional +1 hand size until the end of the phase. So you could potentially get up to 3 if you have 3 of these in your hand. Fortunately, you probably didn't have a lot to play if that was the case, but this is really good. It helps you get a little bit of card advantage coming out. So it's a really key one.
You might have a bum hand that turn, but
Yeah.
next turn you're gonna
Next turn, you're going to have a lot of cards.
Yeah.
And the only other event that I've got into the deck is I've got 3 copies of this hit and run here, which is an attack and a thwart. But as a hero action, you deal 2 damage to an enemy, you remove 2 threat from a scheme. So it's kind of an all-purpose one. It plays both out. It is a 3 cost, and you're only getting 2, but you're doing 2 to each of them.
Or you can spend 3 counters and make that 5.
That is correct.
5 damage.
Make 5
2
damage.
threat. Yeah.
Then I've got here specialized training. And this one, if you're playing solo, well, basically what it is, it's a 1 cost side event, player side scheme, 0 victory. So of course, whenever you clear the threat, it goes away. But when you defeat it, each player in the game who does not control a specialization upgrade gets to choose one of the set aside specializations, which are these 4 cards here. And if you're in a multiplayer game, you kind of pick them out and you let each player kind of choose which one is the best for you. One of them, like the combat specialist, gives you +1 attack, defense is +1 defense, front line is +4 hit points, and surveillance is +1 thwart. But on all of them, you also have, when you kind of use the ability listed on the card, you can exhaust it and draw an additional card. So they boost you an ability up slightly and give you some card advantage as well. So those are really good.
And Dirk has don't leave home without this card.
Yeah,
he has it pretty much every deck.
That is in quite a few of my decks. But I would say it's probably in about 80-90% of my decks. Then, of course, staying with the shield focus here that I've kind of went with the deck, we've got a shield vehicle here. It is the Sky Destroyer, so that you can, after you play a shield card, since it's shield-centric, you can exhaust the Sky Destroyer and deal 2 damage to an enemy. So nice one there. And then, last but not least, we've got our preparation skill card here. It's an espionage. So again, this is, you can only play it if you've got a spy. Of course, Nick is a spy. But as an interrupt, whenever the surge keyword shows up, you get to draw a card. So I've got, I think there's 3 copies of that in the deck that away. I've got maybe 2, might be 2.
You have target acquired over there, did you?
Do I have, oh, I forgot that card. Target acquired. This is one I used to rely heavily on. It hasn't made it in as many decks because of deck size, and so it kind of gets pushed out a lot. But I still like to come back to it with a lot of the basic ones, and I definitely wanted to have it in here. This is it's a 1 cost upgrade, so I like it. It stays out, but it's a preparation. That's why I thought it was a really good fit with this deck. But after a boost card is turned face up, you can discard the target acquired and cancel the boost. And some of these newer boosts have gotten just outright nasty.
Yeah.
So that's the way to do that. It's cards that I've left in that were really important. So let me see here. Of course, there's the Nick cards. Like I do have Fitz and Simmons in the deck here. I've left them in because now Fitz lets you search for a tech, and Simmons gives you a resource for a tech. I don't have a lot of tech, so you can potentially get these and remove them and put something else in. I did kind of leave them in just because of the shield theme, because there's a couple of cards like Dum Dum, you can exhaust them to beef up him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why they've been left in here, and they do have a little bit of use to them.
And they cost
still.
1.
Yeah, they cost 1. Let's see, and then also, of course, let's see, there was the new Nick, the new Nick, but this is what I wanted. But like the eye patch camera, that's one of the cards that Fitz and Simmons is still useful there. I think there's like 3 or 4 total tech cards in the deck, but this is a big one that they can help you out with. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, the watch. They can help you get that one out quicker if you need it. So that's kind of why, like I said, if you wanted to remove them and put something else in, go with other cards used for more basics, in our basic stuff. But I felt like they were still a good fit with the theme being, with it being a basic theme shield deck. Okay. So that's kind of what I did.
All right. That is his deck 4. Okay, and then my deck 5 is a leadership. So I got the Maria article up here because there's a couple of cards from the Maria deck that will be added. So one of them is the Cersei, which is a 6 cost shield support. Exhaust the Cersei, remove 1 deploy counter from it, choose a player. That player puts an ally into play from your hand. You can see there's some I have some expensive allies in this deck. So the Cersei is going to be very important for that. So the other one is,
Not any of those.
where is it? Oh, organizational support. So when you spin this card, exhaust up to 3 allies and or supports you control that share a trait. So there's a lot of shields, um, and you generate the printed resources. So like I can get the Cersei out with this card by itself that costs 4 plus the power of leadership or something, and I paid for the Cersei. Not as efficient as Maria can do it, but hey, this is part of the concept.
Hey, every little penny helps.
Yes. And then going back to the Nick article, uh, so I would probably keep Fitzsimmons, unless the deck gets too big. Nick Fury Sr., this is another one of those that I want to use for that. So he cost 4. Yeah, we went over this. He is the Nick replacement. All right, so some cards. One of them is Mission Leader, which we pretty much put in every leadership deck. But you reduce the cost to play Mission Leader by 1 if your identity has a soldier trait, which Nick does. So this would only cost 1. After a side scheme is defeated, exhaust Mission Leader. Each player draws a card. So yeah, if we go back to Nick real quick. Since Dirk's looking it up, apparently.
No, I wasn't.
Oh, so yeah, he is a soldier. Okay, then the cards. So it's a lot of shield cards still. So we got Agent 13 here, who she costs 4, 2 thwart, 1 attack. After Agent 13 attacks or thwarts, choose a shield support and ready to support. Ready the Cersei, get another expensive card out. Get like 2 expensive allies out, maybe in a turn. Dum Dum Dugan, he costs 5, so he's one of the expensive cards. 3 thwart, 3 attack, 3 consequential for thwarting, 2 consequential for attacking, 5 health. When you would use Dum Dum Dugan's basic power, you can exhaust up to 3 shield cards you control. For each card exhausted this way, he gets +1 to that power. -1. Oops, wait. He gets +1 to that power for this use. Oh, he gets. Oh, I thought it reduced his consequential. Never mind.
No, 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 no.
Oh, no. He just gets. He gets buffered.
It makes him. He can swing or thwart pretty
Yeah.
heavy.
All right. Then we got the Sky Destroyer here. After you play a shield card, exhaust Sky Destroyer, deal 2 damage to an enemy. These are cards that I grabbed after Dirk had revealed them. Espionage. I mean, preparation cards. We're going nuts with. When the surge keyword on an encounter card would be resolved, discard Espionage, draw 2 cards. Target acquired if there's room for it. It's nice to turn off. After a boost card is turned face up, discard target acquired, cancel the card's boost ability. So this is for the star ability specifically. Then let's do allies here. And we'll get back to these other cards here in a minute. So again, these are allies that don't normally make play because they cost so much, but with the Cersei, these guys can come in for free. So we got Goliath here. He costs 4. He's 2 thwart, 1 attack, 4 hit points. Goliath gets +4 attack until the end of the phase. At the end of the phase, discard Goliath max once per phase. So that will be.
Oh, that just clicked. You can't use that with rapid response.
No, but you could use it with command team. So you could ready him.
Yes.
Because he's got 4 hit points. So you could he's got 2 consequential damage. So he could attack twice. So he could do 8, he could do 10 damage before he would die. Giant Man, he costs 5, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 4 hit points. Giant Man gets +2 attack while he has 3 or more remaining hit points. Beast. So now Beast He costs 4, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 3 hit points. After beast enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a resource card and add it to your hand.
So
organizational support.
Yeah.
Can anyone say that?
He can cost -2 to play.
Why would it be minus?
So you play him for free with the Circe, and then you bring back a double resource.
Or the organizational support. But yeah. Rapid response is a preparation card. After an ally you control is defeated, discard rapid response, put that ally into play from your discard pile, and deal 1 damage to it. So again, you could use it for lots of those allies. Regroup. So instead of them dying, like say Goliath, he would go into your hand. Oh no,
that's only if they take damage from an attack.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's only when they attack.
So you can use them as chump blockers.
Yeah.
1 round if you need to, and get them all back.
Right. So
that brings back all allies on the table that you lost that way due to attack.
Right. Now I'm not really Voltroning, but there's a couple of them that I would want to probably beef up a little bit. So I'd probably put an inspired on them, which is 1 cost upgrade. Attach ally gets +1 thwart and +1 attack. Team training here. It's cost 2. Play under any player's control. Each ally you control gains +1 hit point. This card is banned in Dirk's mind because it prevents Maria from dying all the time.
Well, not in my Maria deck. It won't be.
Yeah.
Actually, no. If I'm using it might still be, because if I'm using Victoria, I don't want her to stick around either.
Yeah. Then call for backup. So this is another way. Each player may search their deck and discard pile for an ally and put it into play. Since we've got a lot of expensive allies, this is a cheaper version of the Circe.
Yeah.
But you do have to remove 3 threat per player. But it is nice. All players get to grab an ally and put it into play.
Yeah, and it doesn't reduce the price; it just puts them in.
Well, sure, it reduces the cost. It's free.
Well, it isn't a cost reduction. They are free. That's the difference. Reduce the cost by 3 means Goliath still cost you something.
But this doesn't reduce it by 3.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It makes it free.
Okay.
Which it's a freebie. It's different. It's different.
Okay. Okay, George, whatever you say.
Okay.
And then a practice plan is probably going to go in all my Nick Fury decks.
Yeah, that one is actually
on all my Black Widow decks from now on. After you discard a preparation card you control, discard practice plan, return that card to your hand from your discard pile. So what's nice is like Black Widow, you play it, you do the point of damage, the card goes back in your hand. For Nick, it's remove a threat and put it on the suit, I believe. Is that this one? Yeah. After resolve the ability of preparation card you control, move 1 threat from a scheme to your suit form. So, and then you turn around and practice plan. You put the secret agent back in your hand. So this is another good. This would be a good.
No, this one doesn't.
It's not a preparation card.
No. You're thinking about the camera or the watch.
Oh. Yeah, okay, the camera. This would be a good one.
The camera and the watch are
both. Any amount of threat would be placed. Yeah, so place up to 3 of that threat from your suit form.
I think the watch is 2 the other way, I think. The front that way, I think. Yeah.
That's not a preparation card.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay. You're right.
So the only one we've seen in the preview article is the eye patch camera.
That's okay. We've added some.
Yeah, and I would be surprised if this is the only preparation card in his kit. But who knows? We've seen about 10 of his cards probably.
Yeah, we've seen probably about a little over half his kit.
Yeah, but usually with these preview articles, there's usually 1 or 2 cards that we haven't seen.
And then we also don't see the additional cards that come at the back of it that don't belong in the starting deck.
Well, he doesn't get those.
Oh, he's not getting them?
No, he comes in the campaign box.
Oh, that's right. There's going to be other cards in the campaign box that we haven't seen yet.
Well, yeah, there'll be all the villain cards that
I haven't seen those yet. I've avoided those,
and he doesn't want to see.
I don't want to see them.
Yeah,
I want to be surprised by those.
Okay, but so something that we alluded to in the Maria video.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if Grant was going to be, but I've noticed Grant's an ally in the Nick with Nick. Right? Is it Nick or Maria? Yeah, he's an ally with Maria.
I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Maria. That's right.
Yeah. So he probably would not make it in my neck deck because he might, who knows. But the Cersei is not needed for that. All right, but so Nick likes preparation cards, and so we thought we would kind of. Dirk used a couple of them. I've used a couple of them. We thought we'd kind of go over the different protection cards. We're only going to do the aspects. Obviously, we're not going to do the Black Widow ones because you can't use those. So the first one.
So these are ones that both of these were in my deck. So the anticipation was the one that whenever you engage a minion, you can discard it and ready your hero. So you can you can block or whatever, and then if a minion pops up, you can get readied.
Yeah, the problem is it doesn't let you cycle through these, which is kind of annoying. But,
Nope.
All right, and then we got counterattack here, which is max 1 per player. Hero response after you take damage from an enemy attack, discard counterattack, deal an equal amount of damage to that enemy. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, that one works. I like that one a lot better using it on a villain attack, but I have used it on. I haven't used it a lot, the card itself a lot, but I have actually used it, and I've used it on some of the bigger, stronger minions, but it's normally a villain that I'm using it on.
Well, like Ronan can hit pretty hard
Yeah.
sometimes, so it's pretty nice. Okay, we got counterintelligence, which is definitely one I would have in this deck, in my Justice deck. Would probably be a card I would swap out from the that we talked about at the beginning of the video.
Yep. See, it's even already they already got Nick on it on the card.
Yeah, so he has to have it. So you want to read that?
So the counterintelligence, it's max 1 per player. It's a 2-cost upgrade. And as an interrupt, when any amount of threat would be placed on the main scheme, you can discard counterintelligence to prevent 3 of that threat. Now, you notice it doesn't say whenever the villain schemes or whenever it's placed from a scheme. So it does even count the threat that's placed at, what's that phase called?
Step 1.
Step 1. Yeah, step 1 of the villain phase. It does that first threat that's added there. It will even work there.
Okay.
So.
Which just made me think of another card that will go after this. Okay, defensive stance. Dirk had this in his protection deck. When you would take any amount of damage, discard defensive stance and prevent 3 of that damage.
Yeah, and I really do like this one in the fact that it basically you play it and it sits out until you need to use it. So you're not forced to use it. I like that.
All right, espionage we went over, and it's a basic, so you could put it in any deck. Eye of the Sky. This is aerial preparation. When you reveal a non-elite minion, exhaust an aerial character you control and discard this card. Cancel the effect of that card and discard it. Then reveal another card from the encounter deck. So you'd have to play around this one.
Because with the aerial in there, that one makes it much more difficult to use.
Yeah. So for you'd have to throw some aerial justice allies in the deck, which I can't think of it. There are a couple. There are some.
I think the only time I ever used this was when I specifically was going with an aerial theme.
Yeah, for Angel.
Yeah.
Like Angel Justice, it'd be amazing. All right, and then Lion
So
Wait.
we have the Lion Wait is an aggression preparation card. It's 1-cost upgrade. Hero response after a minion engages you, discard Lion Wait to deal 3 damage to that minion. This is one I used a little bit more when it first came out. I haven't used it as much since, but it has seen some play early on in my decks.
And obviously, this would go in the Moon Knight deck.
Yeah.
Whenever we get Moon Knight, because he's on the art, and that's the rule.
Yeah, you got to eventually put them out.
Rapid response. This is
one of my favorites.
This is the Dirk classic. After an ally you control is defeated, discard rapid response, put it into play from your discard pile, and deal 1 damage to it.
And then we've got Spycraft here. It's a 1-cost upgrade. And you can only play this one if you are a spy, which, of course, Nick is. But as an interrupt, when you reveal an encounter card, you can discard Spycraft to cancel the effects of the card and discard it, then reveal another one. So the aerial one, it's basically the same thing, but it's not specific to a minion, to a non-elite minion.
But you have to draw a replacement card.
Yeah, you still have to draw a replacement.
And target acquired. Okay, so when I read that card, it made me think of another card that would be a replacement in the precon. foiled. Um, when a boost card is turned face up during a scheme activation, cancel its boost icons. So Nick in stealth form, as a hero, the villain is going to scheme more often than normal.
Yeah, so
So
this
this
one
is a
becomes
way,
much more useful to
yeah.
him.
So you just ignore the boost icons, and the villain is just going to do his basic
Yeah,
scheme.
and if you happen to go down though, you can still use it because
Sure,
it's an interrupt. It's not a hero.
sure. But Nick's going to have more. I mean, normally, yeah, that's foiled is a card that you play pretty much when you're down, or multiplayer, you can play it when another person is down and you're up. But it's got slightly more limited use normally. But with Nick, there's more uses for this card
Yep.
because, even especially solo, because he, it basically allows you to stay in stealth form longer, just allow the threat.
Yeah, this is one we pretty much has been relegated to our stay down decks,
Yeah.
which and a lot of times I'm not even doing those in Justice, so I don't use this one as much.
Yeah.
But I could definitely see using it in Nick.
Yeah. Now, speaking of stay down, I did have at one point when there's a companion video for this with Maria, and I did have a Maria stay down deck idea.
Oh, now you're gonna have to do a separate video.
I'll have to do a separate video for it, I guess, because there's a couple cards like the field agent I wouldn't have. I originally had stay down, and then today I didn't think about it. I guess I should have wrote stuff down like you did. I just thought I could remember it, and I cannot. All right. Well, anyways, so those were our 5 deck ideas based on what we know so far for Nick.
Yeah, and I definitely see them changing a little bit when we actually get the box and crack into it and see what all other goodies we get from it. But
Right.
for now, with what we know, these are kind of the ideas that we came up with.
Right. So when the product comes out in February, I think it's late February. Um, what we'll do is we'll have an unboxing video, and then we'll do 2 games where we play the precons.
Not part of the campaign. We'll just play them against villains.
Yeah, Dirk,
and then
Dirk likes to do not even seeing the first villain. So
yep.
it would be, yeah, so it'll be 2 games with existing villains that we have right now. One where he's playing Maria and I'm playing Nick precon, and then we'll flip. And then we'll do the campaign where we'll each build a deck. Now it doesn't mean not necessarily these decks that we're talking about now, but at some point we'll probably do videos, do gameplay with these decks ideas. Yep. But because I'm not even sure um, what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna keep Justice. I'll probably do like a deck 1 idea where I'll pull some cards out because Dirk's gonna insist on playing Maria.
Oh yeah.
For the campaign. So I probably will stick with Nick Justice.
Like you said, I'm probably not going to actually get to play. Oh, well, no, the hero. Yeah. Oh, I see what you mean. Yep. Nope. Never mind. Yeah. He's right.
So for the campaign, so for those first 5 games or more, I guess if we lose. But so yeah, so that's definitely something to look forward to in late February. But yeah, so thank you for watching, everyone. We're gonna sign off on this video. Please like and subscribe.